we're back, and a lot sooner than you probably would have guessed. So today we're gonna be doing something a little different. I'm super excited to be bringing y'all another video and the start to a new series. I'm calling the series Walk and Talk, and basically what it's gonna be is a POV video of a photo walk that I go on, and I'll just talk a little over it, give you some information about what I'm shooting with, and pretty much just about my experience during the photo walk. I'm like super sick right now, so excuse the stuffiness, but videos gotta be made, right? We gotta stay on top of these things. So today, in the video, what I'll be shooting with is the brand new Fujifilm X Pro 1. Well, I say brand new, it's a 10-year-old camera, and I just got it, and I've been super inspired by this little thing, you know? Like, just every single day I wake up, I'm like, I gotta shoot, I gotta take this thing out, and I gotta take some pictures. So, without further ado, let's just get right into this video, and I will see you all again at the end of the video. We begin our day at the famous Bandit Coffee Company in downtown St. Pete, as I take my first two shots of espresso and pictures. After enjoying that wonderful coffee, it's time to get the day going. Time to get up, start taking pictures, get warmed up, feel out the day, and just get after it. And as always, you gotta grab a quick selfie. So, I know it was a quick introduction to the new camera, but I really feel like it deserves to be talked about. I was in the market recently for a new camera, and I was looking for something that could offer a small, compact body, a more hands-on manual shooting experience, and a camera of just good image quality. Something that looked unique. And I became really fascinated with the idea of slowing down my digital shooting process, just because, like, I know what it's like when I shoot film, and it's just a lot more intention behind it. Like, I felt as though my digital photography was really lacking that intentionality, as I seemed to literally just fire away at anything that seemed in any way interesting. And with film photography, as I'm sure you know, you gotta conserve those photos. There's only 24 frames on a roll, especially with my preferred film stock, which is Kodak Ultramax 400. It allows me to compose the best of the best compositions because I'm not wanting to waste a frame. I'm taking it step by step and testing out the frames, testing out the compositions, making sure that I'm going to capture the best possible image I can wherever I am. And, I also prefer shooting with film just because of the experience. It's a lot more hands-on, a lot more manual. You really have to be focused in on what you're doing when you're shooting with film. And I mean, with this camera, from anything to the focus, the aperture, shutter speed, framing the photo, like, it all forces you to put so much more intention and much more effort behind each shot that you take. The X Pro 1 has just exceeded my expectations in a camera by all means. Like, I know it's a 10-year-old camera, and I knew purchasing it, yeah, it might have a lot slower focusing and some other downfalls compared to present day cameras, but I mean, for the price I got it for, you really can't beat it. And I mean, this camera, I've just like figured with all the firmware updates and the cult-like following that it's had since its release, like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go for a camera that obviously people enjoy shooting with? And with all the research I went through, I mean, it really lined up with everything I wanted. It lined up with the slowing down the process, a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more control, a little bit more customization in the camera, and I can promise you, I think I've made the best decision in my photography journey to purchase this camera. And I mean, not only has it provided one of the most pleasurable shooting experiences for me, but I personally feel like it's improved my digital compositions ever since I picked it up. I mean, being a rangefinder style camera, not only does it look like a film camera, but when put in full manual, it feels like one too. And I mean, from the shutter speed dial on the top of the camera, to the aperture dial on the lens, to using the focus peaking, like, everything just comes together to get such an incredible picture. And, you know, it just feels good to shoot. The shutter button is just, oh my gosh, it's like really great. It really feels like you're capturing a moment when you press that button. And I mean, I really feel like very little difference between my shooting experience with the X Pro 1 and my Canon A1 SLR film camera. And I mean, I'd honestly even go to say that it's a better shooting experience because I'm not limited to a certain amount of frames. And even though I'm still taking my time, I'm not rushing through anything with this camera. And it just feels natural to capture beautiful compositions with it. The shooting experience is not the only thing this camera has going for it, though. The feel of the camera is just perfect in the hand. Like, I don't even use a camera strap for it, and little or never do I ever feel like I will drop the camera. And even when I was making this video and I had my, like, attachment for the phone on top of the camera, it made it a little bit more heavier, but I still had a great grip on it. And yes, I do have an extended grip that I did put on that doesn't even protrude any further than the lens that I have on this camera. And honestly, like, I love it. It just feels so great. It looks so great. I mean, look at this thing. It looks so sexy. Like, if I was walking on the street and I saw somebody shooting with an X Pro 1, I'd be like, damn, shawty, let me get that number. Alright, well, besides the point, you know, it just looks great, it feels great, and it's got incredible customization. I mean, the buttons are placed so perfectly all over the camera, and never do I see or feel my thumb on the back bumping anything or accidentally opening a menu, nor do I even have the ability to have my finger on the top move anything. The only button on the top that you could actually press is the function button, and for me that just changes the ISO. So I mean, it's a quick fix. It doesn't change my shooting style, nothing. And I mean, all these buttons are also like customizable, and you could just basically set it to whatever you want to help improve your shooting experience. And it just opens you right up into the incredibly user-friendly menu system that Fujifilm has. And I haven't been disappointed in the slightest by this camera from literally every aspect. And I mean, the best part about it is it just brings back the most important aspect of photography, which is the desire to want to shoot it, you know? And I feel like ever since I got this camera, the first thing I'm thinking every day I wake up is, where can I go? What can I shoot? And I mean, I just simply want to use the damn thing, right? Another blessing that this camera offers is its introduction of the first X-Trans sensor, which is the first sensor that Fujifilm actually constructed themselves for their mirrorless lineup. And I mean, with the film simulations, it's just next to none. It's incredible. Even though the X Pro 1 doesn't have some of the newer film simulations, it still has more than enough to be able to customize the camera and the film simulations to whatever look you desire out of camera. And in this video, you can see the one I created. I kind of went along the lines of a Portra 400 or Fuji Pro H400 and really just tried to capture the look of the film stocks that led the photography industry for years and years and years in like their color, dynamic range, the white balance, all the things that really set the tone for an image to be created. And to go along with it, I made a preset in Lightroom that just allows me to add a little bit more accurate color grading and just a little addition of grain to give it that more film aesthetic. And to be quite honest, this is the perfect example of you don't need the best equipment to create the best work. I got this camera for a little over $300, and I personally feel like I create more intentional work with this than I do of my main shooting camera for video and professional photography, which I spent quite a lot more on. So take from that what you will. And at the end of the day, after a wonderful, wonderful time on that photo walk around downtown St. Pete, as always, you gotta end with a beer. And you gotta end with a beer with a homie, you know? There's nothing better than that. I hope you all enjoyed that POV experience of my photo walk in downtown St. Pete. I thoroughly enjoyed making that video. It was a blast. It was so fun to get to walk around my hometown and just photograph anything that caught my eye. You know, and I do apologize. I know I spent the majority of this video talking about the X Pro 1. But I mean, oh God, with everything I said, how could you not give this thing the introduction it deserves? I mean, this thing's gonna play such a huge role in my workflow and in these YouTube videos, to be quite honest with y'all. And I just wanted to lay the foundation kind of for these videos going forward. I know this first one was kind of just a little test run, see how it would go. But in further videos for Walk and Talks, I'll be discussing and breaking down the pictures I take, what drew my eye to certain compositions, and talk a little bit more about my shooting style, and talk a little bit more about what's happening actually in the video. But with that being said, I mean, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know I did, and be on the lookout. I think Digital Adventures 3, I think it's coming out soon. So be prepared for that. I'm excited for it, and I will see your beautiful faces in the next video. Be safe, be good, and goodbye.